Welcome back to another episode of the Bull and The Cub podcast. I'm your host, David.
And I'm the co-host, also David, David's dad. Okay, welcome everybody. So we just had a lovely meal, and we thought, you know what? With the news this week, restaurant stocks are just in the news this week with some crazy news, and we just had a wonderful meal, and it was expensive. So we thought we'd talk about restaurant prices and restaurant stocks and what's been going on with them lately. CAVA had a crazy week, David. Talk to everybody about where CAVA stock is today and kind of where it's been.
Well, right now, CAVA stock is at around $69, and it's down from $84 from a week ago, so a pretty big drop. But overall, since February, it's down from $142. So CAVA's been going down a lot recently.
Oh my gosh, yeah, what a hit. Now, first of all, love their food, right? It's kind of like the Chipotle of Mediterranean food. It's delicious. Make your own pita bread sandwich there, or wrap. But it's been down significantly. The reason it took this massive dive this last week was they just had, we talked about this before, they didn't have bad earnings. They had a 2% earnings year over year, but it was lower than expected. And it's one of those things where everything's all about what's to be expected. Even if you do good, if you don't do as good as expected, then people start to panic. This was a bit of an overreaction, I think, from the market when CAVA dropped over $15 in one day. I think the owner was talking about, or the CEO was talking about how last year's stock prices was a little inflated because they had a huge boost because they started selling steak last year, and that, you know, when you compare this year to last year's boost, this year didn't look as good, but it was still pretty good. But what else is going on though in the restaurants, David? We talked about CAVA's big drop this week. What other restaurants aren't doing so hot?
Well, I don't know if you can call them restaurants. They're not exactly fast food, but not restaurants. Some other stocks that are doing bad are Chipotle, who is $44 today, down from $56 in early July.
Oh, wow. So CAVA and Chipotle, similar style restaurants, right? That kind of middle tier, not fast food, but not a restaurant, a step above like a McDonald's fast food place. So those aren't doing great. What about ones that are doing pretty good?
Well, the ones that are doing good are stocks like McDonald's, which is $309 today, up from a year ago, $15.
Oh, up $15.
Oh, sorry, up $34.
Yeah.
And then Cheesecake Factory, which is $63 today, is up $15 from a year ago.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so McDonald's is up 10%, and Cheesecake Factory is up about almost 20%. So kind of that's interesting. The fast food, king of the fast food's up. And then just an example of a more expensive sit-down restaurant is up as well. But the middle tier folks like CAVA and Chipotle are down. So, one thing, what do you think the reason is for this change in this struggling of stocks like a Chipotle or a CAVA?
Well, one of the big reasons with the struggling of these stocks is price. As we were saying, we chose this because the price of these stocks, of food from these places is a lot. For example, just like chicken kebab plate
from Luna
Grill is, we didn't talk about Luna Grill, is $16. Well, if you have an average of a family of 4 or so, that's $69 in total with no tip. So you are literally almost paying as much as a restaurant or as much as some restaurants eating at not a restaurant, basically. So people would either go to a restaurant to eat anyway, or if they can't afford it or just don't want to go, they'd go somewhere like McDonald's. So, which is the reason that those two stocks have been going up so much.
That's a great point, right? So some folks are saying, I can't afford you Luna Grills and CAVAs and Chipotles and Panera Breads of the world, so I'm going down to the fast food place. Or those that can't afford it are going, why am I paying $70 for 4 of us to get a couple chicken and rice plates? I'd rather go sit down at a restaurant, a fancier restaurant. I mean, and you know what? We're not going to leave Panera Bread alone either. My goodness, we're
my
just
Panera
shocked by the
Bread.
prices every time. What about Panera Bread? Give me a family of
Panera
four.
Bread had I didn't do the math for a family of four, but I can just multiply it. For around the family of four to eat like not too much food each, it would be around $69. Whereas for just a family of four to eat like half of a chicken sandwich and a mac and cheese.
Yeah, like in a cup of mac and cheese. Wow, that's crazy. So family of four, everybody gets a cup of mac and cheese and a half a chicken sandwich, and it's almost $70. And you haven't even tipped anybody, and you feel bad. You know, workers are struggling to pay rent. You want to give them a tip, but $70 even before the tip, that's insane. My goodness. So that tells, I think, all we need to know about what's going on the restaurant side is that the prices are up and people are starting to turn away from certain types of restaurants. Why are the prices up though? What are some of the things going on with the restaurants that are making? I mean, are they just raising prices and making lots of profits?
Well, not exactly. The three main reasons in the stock is going so badly and the prices are going up is because one, labor cost, as obviously minimum wage has been consistently going up, which is obviously good for people. You want them to like make more money. And then second is ingredient cost. Some supply chains have been disrupted because of tariffs or other reasons. And operating costs like rent, utility, insurance are making it very expensive.
Wow, that's a great point, David. So even though the prices are going up at some of these restaurants, it's not that they're making more money. It's that they've got to pay for these higher labor costs, higher ingredients and food, and higher operating costs. Rent's up across the board, insurance up. So it's a great point. So it's interesting to me how everything's interrelated. Right? I mean, some people just, I don't think you can look at some of these issues narrow-mindedly and say, oh, well then minimum wage shouldn't go up because that's causing food prices to go up. Well, yeah, that's a byproduct, but we also have a lot of other things going on in the economy. If rent is really high for people and they can't afford a place to live, well, that's a problem for our economy, and we need people to be making enough minimum wage to be able to afford a place to live. And so all these things are interrelated, and so we're not here advocating for a certain position. We're just analyzing how the market factors, such as once rent went up and once housing prices went up, minimum wage had to follow in order to allow people to not become homeless and have a place to live. But in turn, we're now seeing a few years later, after the real estate boom and the rental boom, the impact on the costs in the restaurant. So
it's basically like a huge chain reaction.
Right. That's just it. Exactly. So we'll see. So we're watching some of these restaurant stocks closely. Some, some are down at the moment, and that may be a good time to get in long term. But just something to keep an eye on as we don't see the lines out the door like we used to. Anything else, or you want to play our game now?
I'm ready to play our game. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, well, let's recap last week. So last week we did the rideshare apps, and you took Uber, and I took Lyft. And so you want to recap Uber for us?
Yeah, well, Uber had a positive earnings report with 18% increase and a 16% increase in bookings. So you'd think it'd go up a lot. It didn't. It went up $4. That's all.
Well, up is up, right? So Uber's at 93, up from 89. But when we look at, there's so much data we can look at when we look at an earnings report. But when it comes to ride shares, I think you're right. I think looking at their increase in revenue and increase in bookings, like you said, so 18% increase in revenue, 16% increase in bookings. I think that's the two things we're looking at with ride shares when they give earnings reports. How about Lyft? How did I do with Lyft?
Well, your Lyft actually had a worse earnings report with an 11% increase in revenue and a 12% increase in people booking rides. But somehow you made more money. Yeah, well, not money, but percent. Yours went from $14 to $16. So you're winning this one.
Yeah, both had good earnings report, but Uber had
better.
Uber had a better earnings report, but the Uber stock was already up pretty high. and I think that may explain why Lyft had a little bit better boost, at least from a percentage standpoint. Certainly, two stocks to watch in the future. For a lot of reasons too. We'll see. You got to imagine with the increase in hype on the robo-taxi market that they're going to be players in that as well. All right, so time for our stock game of the week, David. You want to go first and pick yours? Or you want me to go?
Probably let you go first.
Okay. Logic may be defeating me here. We just talked about how some of these restaurants are just too expensive, and the cost of providing the food and with the increase in wages and the increase in food costs are.
Yet you're gonna choose one of those.
Yeah, it's restaurant week, right? For us, it's restaurant week here on the Bull and the Cub. So I think I'm buying the dip. That's what we do. We keep things simple here. When stocks are low, we buy. Right? When they're high, we sell. So I'm buying the dip on CAVA. CAVA has just under 400 stores nationwide. They are looking to have 1,000 stores over the next 7 years, right? So that's quite an increase that they're looking towards. And I just think it's going in the right direction. Yeah, I didn't have as big of a earnings report as expected, but I'm going to buy on the dip, and I'm going to buy CAVA this week.
My choice is probably going to be Habit. The only reason is it's kind of like CAVA and those places. It's a bit less of a price, and if you use their app, you'd know. But they always have insane rewards and stuff. So I feel like people are gonna flock to Habit with all these other places costing a lot more money.
Oh, okay. All right, so that sounds good. So, and just for clarity for our viewers, so Habit is under the Yum brands, YUM brands, which acquired Habit a few years ago. So if you're looking to follow David's, then look at the Yum stock. I think Yum also owns.
I'm still gonna call it Habit.
That's fine. I think Yum also owns KFC and Taco Bell, if I recall correctly. But they own a number of restaurants, and Habit being one of them. Great burgers out here. Big debate. I mean, most people are In-N-Out folks out west, but does Habit win? In-N-Out versus Habit?
Depends.
Oh, it depends on your mood. All right. That's a debate for another day, another topic. All right, this was fun looking at the restaurant stocks today. Nothing else on my end. Anything for you, David?
No, nothing else. We'll see you next time. Bye.